So that brings us to our main billing. You can see Robert Hill's waiting in the wings there. It's not a traditional stage where the person standing out in the wings is hidden. Robert's in full view. So let me introduce you to Robert. He's from RLH Advisory. Look, he's been one of our members on here sort of a while back. He used to turn up to our live events as well when we had them in person, not just online. So we've known each other for probably about 2 or 3 years, I think now, Robert. But Robert runs an accounting practice, and a lot of accountants deal with tax compliance, which means filling in your BAS forms, filling in your tax returns, telling you how much you owe or how much they've saved you in tax. And there's lots of people around like that. Robert's a wee bit different in that he is what you'd call an advisory accountant. So what he does is that he helps mentor people. He's a what you call a business coach in that sort of area as well. And with his accounting background, he's able to help businesses to really understand what drives the business and some of the and what to do with some of these numbers and figures. So when you do get your end of year accounts, what do you do with this profit and loss? What do you do with this balance sheet? What is it anyway? So, but he hasn't always been an accountant. He grew up in New South Wales. He started his tax and accounting career 32 years ago. He still keeps up with tax, which is an ever-changing environment, I think, isn't it, Robert? But his main focus is really helping business owners with their annual strategic planning and coaching to achieve maximum success and financial freedom in their business. So let's give a warm round of applause to Robert Hills.
Thanks, Nick. I'll just share my screen here. Hopefully I get the right one. Can you see that all right?
Looking good.
Looking good. Rightio. Now just change a few things here. Okay. Right. So today's session is the 3 essential tools for business success. Yes, as Nick introduced me, there's my email address, rob@rlh.net.au, and my phone number, 0490 892 553. Now, just I'd like to kick things off with a thought from the day, from the Rock. So success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than the day before. It all adds up. So that's Dwayne the Rock Johnson. There's no magic bullet for business success. It takes hard work. However, using the tools at your disposal can drive hugely rewarding improvements. It's not about making drastic changes. It's about making small, incremental changes, changing old habits to get a little bit better every day. Now, I just thought we'd start off with a Mentimeter. So I'm going to drop a, sorry, just bear with me here. I'll just share this screen, and I'm going to just put in the chat a link, and you can actually hit on that link. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, you're all in business for a reason. So take a moment to think about what you wanted your business to give you when you first started. What did you dream it would be like? Now, what score would you give yourself out of 5 for how well the business has delivered on these dreams? 5 being 100% your dreams are a reality, life couldn't be sweeter, and 1 being the dream is more of a nightmare, and sometimes the worry that your team members are making more money than what you are. I'd like everyone to either get your phone out or hit on the link that I've put in the chat, and hopefully it's working. Let me know if it's not, and enter a code on the screen. So for your score 1 to 5. Well, it actually works. So there we go. They're going up and down a bit there. Any more takers? Nope, that's 3.3. So yeah, that's not bad actually. So people are not doing too bad at all. Look, down to 3.1. We might just leave that one there. That's a bit of an indication of where things are at. That'll teach me to play around with it. Righto, we're back there. So before we get stuck in, I just wanted to throw in our usual disclaimer that the information in this educational webinar is general in nature and no substitute for tailored advice specific to your particular circumstances. So our agenda for today is 1, the power of 1%, 2, having the courage to change, 3, the 3 essential tools, next steps, and Q&A. So let's look at what it means, what we mean when we say small changes add up. If you improve by just 1% each day, after a year, you'll be a massive 37.8 times better off. So for example, if you increase your sales by 1% each day for a year, by the end of the year, you'd be selling 37.8 times more each day. So what would your business look like if you increased your sales by 37 times? Of course, it's unlikely that you will achieve 1% growth in sales or 1% reduction in costs every day. The point here is to illustrate the power of compounding growth. So even if you achieve 1% improvement each week, you'll double in just over 16 months. So we're simply looking to achieve, what we're simply looking to do is achieve continuous and sustained improvements. Now let's consider what happens if you don't make these changes. Let's say your competitors sharpen their game, or you fail to keep track of the changes in technology, or you manage your team inefficiently because you're so busy and your sales start to reduce by 1% each day. If your daily sales are currently $1,000 per day and your sales regress by 1% every day, your sales would just be $30 by the end of the year. For those who are, well, again, your sales or production is likely to drop in a linear way like this. The important point here is that unless you make continuous improvement, your business performance is likely to drop over time. As Einstein said, compounding is the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. Change is inevitable. We all know that, right? But change isn't easy. Think about other businesses that haven't adapted to change and what the impact has been on them. So I've got a couple of examples here. So Kodak became the poster child for companies who failed to react to their changing market. Pardon me. In 1976, Kodak claimed a market share of 85%, but they failed to adapt to change. And by 2003, their market share had diminished to 15%. So Kodak actually developed the first digital camera, believe it or not, but worried about the effect going digital would have on the sale of camera films. Their failure to accept the change from the film to digital had a massive impact on their profitability. So now most of us carry a camera in our pockets, instantly uploading photos to social media. And by the way, Kodak actually released their first smartphone in 2017. So another example is Blockbuster. At the height of its success, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores worldwide. There's another story of a business that had the opportunity to change, but didn't see the value in changing at the time. In 2000, when Netflix was starting out with a mail DVD rental service, the CEO approached Blockbuster to discuss Netflix handling Blockbuster's online business. However, he was, according to Forbes, laughed out of the room. In 2004, Blockbuster finally set up their own mail DVD rental service. when the CEO of Netflix mentioned that Blockbuster had thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Netflix in order to compete with them, Blockbuster sent it to the CEO of Kitchen Sink the next day. Netflix now has over 150 million users worldwide, and I had a bit of a look earlier today, and Blockbuster has one store remaining in Oregon in the US. So what those examples of disruption highlight is that change is not easy. When we're riding the wave of success, it can be hard to see the need for change. We all have inbuilt habits and behaviors that we repeat. We also have so much going on in our lives that it's hard to start doing something different. This is the formula for change, and it will help you increase your ability to change. So on the right-hand side, we have an R. This stands for resistance. This is what's stopping you from changing your behavior. This can come in three forms: no time, no money, or you don't see the benefit of changing your behavior. You need to build up the left side of the equation so that these variables are greater than your resistance. So what's the D stand for? The big dissatisfaction with the status quo. You need to understand the consequences of not changing your behavior. What happens if you don't learn how to grow your business or improve profitability? Profit may drop. You might not be able to take the family holiday, or you may have to get rid of some team members. So then we need to have a vision. What will your life look like if you do change your behavior? What do you want your future to look like? More holidays, more money, more time with your family? Having a clear vision will help drive you to change your behavior. Finally, what are the first steps you need to take in order to achieve that vision? We depict this with a lowercase f to represent the fact that the steps are small and easy to take. Remember, the consequences of inaction will heighten your dissatisfaction and cause the business to regress. The fact that you're here today means you're open to change. So that's the great step in the right direction. The three essential tools I'm going to show you now are the first steps you need to take to start moving forward. Your vision of a positive future state. As you'll see from the formula, your resistance to change has to be outweighed by your dissatisfaction with the status quo and your vision of a positive future state. So what are the three essential tools for business success? Well, in my view, they are: 1, an annual business plan; 2, an annual forecast; and 3, ongoing reporting and accountability. Your business plan is your guiding document to deliver the business outcomes you dreamed. Your annual forecast shows the numbers you need to achieve your desired business outcomes. And ongoing reporting with accountability means regularly monitoring your results and having someone hold you accountable for completing your actions and achieving your goals. So let's take a closer look at each one. So there are literally thousands of books and articles on the internet about components of a business plan. Here's what we consider to be the best practice. 1, a clear purpose. This should be a 5 to 7 word statement that explains why your business exists for your customers. 2, a clearly articulated vision. What will your business look like in 5 years' time? 3, what you want to achieve. What does your business need to deliver to you? Remember, your business is there to serve you, not the other way around. State the hours you want to work, the holidays you want, and how much money you want to make. 4 is a high-level budget. This helps identify your gross revenue targets for the year and is based on what you've recorded in your what we want to achieve section. The budget also forms the basis for essential tool number 2. Key performance indicators is number 5. These are the things that measure, things to measure that will make sure you're on track to achieve your goals. For example, you know, sales per day, might be milk production per month, gross profit, or even the number of days team members are achieving their individual targets. Choose a maximum of 5 and make sure you can measure them. So 6 is the opportunities and vulnerabilities. Your business plan needs to identify these so your goals can be maximized, so your goals can maximize the opportunities and mitigate the vulnerabilities. And finally, 7, goals for the year. Make sure these goals are measurable and achievable. These should cascade into 90-day goals with clear actions and a person responsible for each action. It's important to review your business plan regularly to ensure the actions are being completed by the due date and update your 90-day goals each quarter. So these are the rules that we follow when it comes to developing a business plan. Firstly, all key decision makers should be involved and complete pre-work before the planning session to reflect, prepare, and be heard. We recommend using an independent facilitator to avoid people dominating the discussion and encourage alignment between stakeholders and key team members. Your business plan should be on one page, double-sided. There's no point developing a 30-page business plan to gather dust in the drawer, and I've seen a few of them over the years. It needs to be visible at all times to guide decision making. You should share your plan with your team, even if you remove some of the sensitive information. By sharing, it encourages your team to buy into your vision and align their goals with yours. So you should report against your plan monthly to monitor progress. You should review and update your goals and actions each quarter to ensure you're track to achieve your annual goals. Do a full review and update your business plan each year, and that's the important thing. It's an annual business plan. Some things such as your vision and values may not need change, but take the time to review each section. So what will this one-page business plan look like? We've got an example here. All components are clearly identified. We like to keep things simple and easy to read and understand. We've got the purpose, vision, and what we want to achieve in the value section at the top. Then we have our high-level budget. We update the year-to-date column each quarter to ensure we're on track. Next, we have the KPIs we'll be measuring. You can see we've added targets for our KPIs, so we know what we're aiming for. Our ideal client and value proposition are clearly identified. These should be shared with the team. We then have our opportunities and vulnerabilities, and then we've identified our most critical challenge. On the back page, we record our goals and actions. So this is the second page of the plan, your 90-day action plan. First, determine your annual goals. So then break each goal down into 90-day goals. Each of these goals should be a step towards achieving your annual goals. Then work out actions that must be taken in order to achieve these goals. And it's important to record who's responsible for each action, and the due date is essential to make someone is accountable. So make sure they're accountable. We recommend setting 3 to 5 goals for the year. This ensures they're achievable and you have time to focus on each goal. So that's the first tool, your annual business plan. So if you've got any questions there, just whack them into the chat group and we'll answer them at the end. So the second essential tool is the annual forecast. In the past, you might have prepared a forecast because the bank asked for one, but it's something that should happen each year. If you don't know how much money will be coming in and out of the business and when, you can't make informed decisions. Even if your business has a positive cash flow, you should prepare a forecast. It can help you unlock a lot of cash just by making a few changes. Your annual forecast will break your high-level budget from your business plan into monthly targets, accounting for seasonality and allowing you to predict and prepare for large cash outlays. So there's 3 types of forecasts, which we can combine into something called a 3-way forecast. The first forecast is your profit and loss, which shows you whether you're going to make a profit or loss each month. It also gives you flexibility to allow for seasonal fluctuations instead of lumping all the income and expenditure into one annual total. It could show that while some months you may make a loss, overall you'll make an annual profit, or vice versa. What's really important to understand is that profit and cash flow are not the same. Some costs don't appear in the profit and loss forecast, so you need to make sure that you're going to make sufficient profit to cover these additional cash costs. That brings me to the cash flow forecast. This shows all the movements of cash in and out of your business on a month-by-month basis and allows for things like tax payments, asset purchases and sales, your drawings, and also things like loan drawdowns and repayments. And while the profit and loss forecast shows you your business efficiency, the cash flow forecast shows whether or not you have enough cash to survive and thrive, as cash is basically oxygen for your business. The last forecast is your balance sheet forecast, which shows you whether the overall value of your business or net worth is increasing or decreasing. It measures your assets, liabilities, and equity, and shows whether you're solvent or insolvent. Highly profitable companies can and do go broke, so the balance sheet forecast gives you an early warning of risk. For example, if you have a huge increase in sales, but you're slow collecting your debtors, you could be in a position where you can't pay your bills as they fall due. As you can see, your forecast tells you a lot about the health of your business. This is why it's one of the 3 essential tools and why you must do it annually rather than only when requested by the bank. And it's amazing just some of the insights that you can get out of it. And you start playing around with the figures, and it's, I suppose, hey, I just love doing it. But yeah, it's amazing how much of a difference the profit and loss and cash flow, how much the difference really is, and the effects that it has on the business. So here's our rules for developing your annual forecast. There's plenty of software around that can help you with your forecast, and you should be able to do some of it yourself. What we do is we send our clients pre-work to complete before we prepare their forecast to ensure that they've identified all expected income and expenses. Start with your desired profit, and then work backwards to calculate the sales you need to achieve and to obtain that profit. And then compare this to last year's results. Is your desired profit realistic and achievable? So you need to look at that, and you need to review your figures and make any required adjustments. And of course, we can help develop your forecast and identify areas you can improve your cash flow. So the third essential tool for business success is ongoing reporting with accountability. Reporting means regularly monitoring your results to ensure you're on track to achieve your goals. If you're not measuring your financial results and the key drivers of your business, you can't properly manage them. Technology provides us with real-time data to support informed decision-making. So compare real-time data against your forecast and make adjustments if required to stay on track to achieve your goals. We recommend preparing management reports monthly to measure your key performance indicators. If you wait until the end of the year to review your annual accounts, the data is too old to be much of use. By producing regular reports, you can quickly respond to any unexpected changes in your results. Of course, without some accountability, you're less likely to take the actions you need to in response to your reports. So people often start with great intentions, producing reports for the first couple of months, then get busy with the day-to-day tasks. And hey, I know I've been guilty of this too, so I think it's something that affects most of us. But your accountability coach will ensure you dedicate time to review your numbers and check that you've taken the actions you need to. So accountability helps you set aside time to work on your business and complete the actions you set in your business plan, or respond to the regular reports, building better habits for your business. So your accountability coach must be someone independent, and they must have the backbone to give you consequences for inaction, but the heart to care. They can't be afraid to upset you when you need a dose of accountability, and they need to care about you achieving your goals you've set. So you must have clearly documented actions with due dates to ensure you have a deadline to work towards. So there must be consequences for inaction. If you keep failing to complete your actions, something is broken, and it's likely you have the wrong person holding you to account. So who will hold you accountable? So your next steps. My aim is to help you take today's message and implement some positive change in your business. So what are your next steps from here? Doing nothing is not an option. Doing what you have always done is unlikely to give you the same results you've had in the past. So make a clear plan that you can articulate to your team. Develop your forecast for the year and repeat this annually. Find someone to hold you accountable. Focus on what you can do as opposed to worrying about what is out of your control. And of course, we are here to help. So how can we help you? There's a few of the costings on some of this. We can help you implement the 3 essential tools in your business. Our business planning service consists of a 4-hour session where we'll develop a business plan like the one you saw earlier, and we can prepare cash flow forecasts. And for those who need accountability to make the changes and achieve your goals, we offer quarterly coaching sessions where we update your 90-day goals and actions and hold you accountable to achieve them. Or we can do monthly coaching if you need more regular accountability. So changing the way you run your business is all about building better business habits, making small changes which add up over time. We have building better habits. We have a building better habits worksheet. We can send you for free, which will help you identify the one area of your business that you'd like to consciously improve daily. We also offer a complimentary 1-hour meeting to discuss your goals and find out how we can work together and help you achieve them. So I'm going to throw it open now for any questions that anyone has. So you can unmute yourself, put it in the chat.
All right, this is your one opportunity to come and visit an accountant and ask you questions without a bill at the end of it. I do have one, Robert, and really because I'm a creative person, and being a creative person, attention to detail is just not one of the my zones of genius. I can do it, but it's not my favorite place to be. But what would you say is probably the most common problem with business or thing that they pay least attention to that would have the biggest result?
I think a lot of people go out and they'll set their mind to do something, and they'll actually learn how to do something, but they have no goal as to what they want to achieve in the end, as in what the effect's going to be on their business. So does that make sense, Nick? It's is that, like, I see all these people out there that are getting, and I'll call it, you probably call it, it's probably referred as coaching, but it's probably more like mentoring, in that you're mentoring and you're learning something, but there's no real, they have no direction as to what their actual goal is. You know, what's their 5-year goal? Is it written down? I mean, my 5-year goal for my business is it's like ingrained in the front of my head. Nobody else can see it, but yeah, it's there. And I guess it's the thing that really drives me and pushes me forward. And each time I do something, I have that in mind. So yeah, so I don't believe that people have that 5-year goal written down and then they fail to look at what steps they've got to do. They just jump on the bandwagon and think, oh yeah, I've got to go and do this. And they go off into the tangent and do that, and they do an absolutely wonderful job. You know, if we're going to do, say, our marketing, and we're going to really drive it, what happens if we market so well and we have all these orders come in and we've got no money to be able to buy the stock? It's probably not a bad bad problem to have, but have you looked at what the consequences of that are? And that comes back to your 3-way forecasting. You know, I did one recently where, you know, we're looking at probably sales of in the vicinity of $10 million a year. And we looked at that time periods over Christmas where there's about 2 months over Christmas where sales are right down. And we had to look at what were our overheads going to be during that period of time, because we've got to pay them. What's the effect? We've got debtors, and we had to take all that into account in our 3-way forecasting. So yeah, and there's even actually a 4-way forecast where you do a whole page of your KPIs on a monthly basis as well. So it's actually you can do that. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things that people fail to do is they fail to put that 5-year plan in place, write it down, and then work back from there to work out how they're going to achieve it.
Awesome. Excellent. Yep. I think I've been guilty of that sometimes. It's all good to create a new program without sort of thinking about, so how does it fit into the overall scheme of things? All right. Do you have any other questions out there?
Well, so no more questions. I've either presented it well.
Hey, Robert, I just want to say congratulations for keeping an art teacher interested for half an hour. You did well.
That's good, Jane. Thank you.
One of the questions that often comes up is this whole thing about cash flow. They talk about cash flow being the lifeblood of the business, but what is it? I mean, from my point of view, cash comes in the door. As long as it covers all the expenses and leaves you some left over for profit, then you're doing okay.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that the cash comes in the door, but have you provided for everything that needs to be paid for? Like, as in, have we put some aside for like that Christmas period? And that's the thing. A lot of businesses tend to work on, yep, money comes in, money goes out, and yep, we've maintained a balance of, I don't know, $10,000 in the bank, but to get through Christmas, we need $12,000. So have we budgeted for that? And I mean, there's some businesses out there that have, even $500,000 overheads every month. So it's just a matter of making sure that it's all happening. And that's why you've got to break it down into the monthly profit and loss and monthly cash flow.
So that brings in another question about pricing, and it's how do you price your products? Because obviously, with cash flow, you talked about sort of accounting for all of the expenses, but apart from just pulling a number out of the air and thinking, well, that sort of seems like a good number, which is what you can do when you've got digital products. How do you go about pricing things properly?
Well, I guess the thing is that, as I said, start from the bottom, work out what your overheads are, work out what you need to at least pay for the overheads, and in amongst those overheads, don't forget putting a wage in for yourself. But then work out what your actual cost of sales are. And to a certain extent, you've got to go out to the market. If you've got a similar product to someone else, that's probably a bit of a starting point. The question mark is that how can you sell that product on value? And if you can sell it on value, your product might be the same or very similar to somebody else's, but you can demand a higher price for it because you show your buyers the value. And we actually have a value-based selling coaching session as well. So we actually have that. But yeah, it's a good question, Nick. And I would start at what's out there in the market, and then work out how much extra you can actually go above the market based on you being able to sell the value.
And that's a value there. It's really easy to compare yourself to the competition or others that are offering the same thing. But there's often a vast difference between some that are the cheapest in the market and those that are sort of top end, really expensive in the market. And a lot of it is, well, from what I've seen, is it's not based on the product itself, but it's just based on who they sell it to and or the value they put on it, how they package it all up, and I think sort of confidence in themselves. Yep,
I'd have to agree with that, Nick. I mean, I got one of the examples that I've got is that your roller doors, your automatic roller doors, there's actually springs in them that help get it up and down. Now, we had to replace one of ours, and they gave me a quote of $900, and Kim freaked out. I knew nothing about it because I'd never done it before, but it was $900 for something that would last probably 3 times as long as their $600 product. So I could have saved $300 and went with the $600 product, but the guy said to me, hey, they'll last 3 times as long. So you don't want to be replacing this again. So they sold it on the value. It was that much more value.
Mm. Yeah, there's 2 things with value. One is time, one is money. How much time is it going to save you or make you, and how much money is it going to make you and save you as well? So, and often your marketing equation is being able to demonstrate that in a way that it's hard to say no to.
Yeah, one of the examples that keeps coming back to me, and it was just a way of being able to market the product better. But there was a I can't remember which beer it was now, but there was a beer they advertised that their beer was chill filtered. Now all beer is chill filtered apparently, but they come out and told the market that their beer was chill filtered to lock in the flavour. Sales went up.
In fact, that was Schlitz Beer, and that company was almost bankrupt. And they called in, who was it? I think it was John Claude Hopkins, or one of those great copywriters. And he knew nothing about making beer, so they took him for a tour through the factory and talked about it. One of those things was the this chilled process.
Yeah.
And but yeah, as you say, everyone was doing it. But his question was, and this is probably a good question for us all, is how many people know this about what you do, about the process? And no one. So just by telling the story meant that they were the first ones that did it. It sounded pretty cool and sexy, and that's what sold it. They did nothing different. It was just that they told the story, and often it's just telling the story that makes all the difference in our selling and pricing. All right. Do we have any other any other questions? What have we got here? We've got one here.
Yeah,
Some
Nick,
say, hey, David, how are you?
Hey, Nick, how are you? Robert, I've just got a question for you with the business plan. The last time I looked at my business plan was probably 2 years ago. So I think putting it on one page is a really good idea, but I'm just wondering, like, if it's enough, like if all those things pretty much everything that you looked at.
You'll actually find that that one page business plan, it's there to give you the direction.
Yeah.
So it highlights the things that you want to achieve, and then you have to do your 90-day action sheet. So what are the 5 things you're going to do in the next 90 days to work towards that 5-year plan, that 1-year plan, the 180 days, the 90 days. So, and that's why we call it a one page, but you print it back to front, so it's on one piece of paper basically. But
Yeah, right.
it's the thing is, it's very summarized.
Yeah.
It's all on one page. You're right. It is easy to look at. And the thing is that you do these things, cash flow, especially the 3-way forecast, and your business plan. And if you want to go and borrow some money from the bank, you can just email those 2 documents through to them, and they will think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they like that.
So yes, they love it. It's these 30-page business plans. I've sent banks this 1 page plus the forecast, and they've been happy. They haven't asked for anything more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I think mine's about 15 pages, and I just never look at it anymore. It's just too much.
The other thing is you'll find is that this 1 page plan is also a great tool for actually selling your business. So, I mean, when you sell a business, you look at what the past history has been, and you'll probably base the sale price on that. But when you go and buy a business, you're looking at what's the extra that you can get out of it. So by providing your your purchaser, once they've signed a contract, of course, with cash flows and a business plan, I mean, they've got direction moving forward. So yeah, so no, if it's 2 years old and 15 pages, do the 1 page.
Summarize it, yeah.
Yep, summarize it.
I think all the important stuff you could probably get it on that one or 2 pages anyway, because a lot of stuff in there. Just I had to look over it, and it's just too much.
It's but everything is summarized and to the point. You know, if you don't want to, if you don't want to see, you don't want your team to see how many how many dollars you're going to make for the year. Take some of the data out. And just show them, look, everything else that's on there, it's not a problem showing to your team members, because you want them to buy in on your vision as well, so that your vision,
they need to know what
vision becomes their vision as well, and you're all going in the one direction. So I
like that. Thanks.
Well, I've got one question here in chat from Victoria, and she's wanting to know how you know your marketing dollar is working for you.
Well, that's an interesting question, that one, isn't it? and look, once again, it's working out what your KPIs are from your marketing. You need to be able to sit down and map out a couple of things that you can measure to measure how your marketing is going. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. But,
so it could be something like, if you're running an ad, how many clicks you're getting, and when people are clicking, how many email addresses you get, or how many people opt in. That'd be one metric, right?
That is one metric, but then you'd have to take it further than that and work out right to the very end as to what's your sales actually from that. So, and that's where you come back to your, 7 ways to grow your business. And that there's another whole session again. And I could probably come back and do that sometime too, Nick. But yeah, it's a matter of just measuring what your marketing is doing. As you said, the clicks, but follow the client's journey all the way through, so that you work out what the sales are from that marketing dollar.
And these days it's pretty easy with some of the metrics they've got on social media, website, Google Analytics, all of those sort of things. Yeah. So the trick is knowing which one of those numbers is the important number to follow your customers all the way through. There's a ton of information, but it's just focusing on the right numbers.
Yep, and things like asking, you're monitoring all of those, but ask the client where they heard about you. I mean, that's an important thing all the time, I reckon. Where did they come from? And look, there's all survey software and that type of thing out there now, so that after they've purchased from you, send out a survey, find out what the customer's experience was, find out, and within all of that, find out how they come to buy from you. And they might say social media, given the options there or other, but certainly with all the survey software we've got around now, you can actually find out where they're coming from.
I do all of that, and yet recently my sales have gone down, and I'm complaining to the people that do my marketing. I'm saying, you're not getting the returns that I thought you were going to get me. So where's it going wrong? And I just find that then they try and baffle you a bit with their statistics, but the statistics are right there in front of me. The sales have gone down, the cost of the marketing's gone down as well, and I'm like, well, what gives? I haven't had a discussion with them yet about it because I was sick today, but yeah.
So that's the thing is if they're showing you all these stats, make sure they send them to you in writing what the stats are. That's where I'd start, and then
they do.
Yep,
they do that. And when people order my product, I have a drop-down box that says, "Where did you hear about me from?"
Yep.
But it could be Facebook, Google. The difference is I don't think the analytics drilled down enough to say, I just did a search for you online, or I saw a Google ad, or I saw a Facebook ad, or I saw an Instagram ad. It's very difficult to drill the analytics right down to an exact place where they found you from. It seems to be very overall and a bit here, a bit there, no real one place where you'd see all the traffic coming from, but yet their answers suggest that they're coming from one place.
And look, the reality probably with that too, Victoria, is with marketing, it may not just be one place. It might be that they've been to your website, maybe they got there by clicking on an ad, they hadn't bought anything, they might have gone to social media, and then they've seen you on social media. Either you've got a remarketing pixel in there, they've clicked on it again, they've come to you through to your site, and then maybe they've seen you somewhere else, and so sometimes it's a number of different touch points that contribute towards that end sale. And it can be difficult to know which one it is that contributed to it, because they all contribute to it. So it'd be nice to say it's an exact science, but it's not. Sometimes it's not an exact science, when you drill down that deep. But what you do know is that sales are either going up or they're going down. and your costs are either going up or they're going down. So those are sort of really the points there to look at. And if I was to start there, if my sale, let's say if my sales were going down and the costs were exactly the same, I'd be looking at things like what's the message that's going out there. So there's a couple of things happening. Either the messaging's wrong or something's changed there, or the costs of advertising have gone up, and so you've hit your budget with less clicks. So that can happen as well too. So those are probably some of the discussions I'll be having with the marketing people.
But what would you expect to be a return on your dollar? You know, 100% return on every dollar you spend, 200%. Is there a base?
There's no magic number. It's hard to, really difficult to know. Robert might know a bit in terms of industry averages or whatever, but it is a fairly fluid equation.
Look, the thing is that if I'm making a 50% gross profit on a product, then in theory, I can spend 40% and I'm still making 10%. So to get that extra sale out of somebody, you know, you might be spending 80% of what your gross profit is, and you're still making a profit. Not that I'm saying I'd recommend that, but you know, there's a lot of different formulas that you can make there, and then there's even the difference in there between advertising and marketing. You know, that's a debate that comes up from time to time, and I tend to put them in the same cost center, but there's different ways of doing it. And you know, sometimes they say you should try and put 10% of what your profit is aside for marketing.
Okay, well that gives me something to work on. You know, 10% of your gross profit or your net profit?
Try for net profit. Because if you put 10%, depending on what your gross profit margin is, if you're selling tobacco or cigarettes and you're only making a gross profit margin of sort of between 8 and 10%, then you don't want to be spending 10% of your gross profit on. You don't want to, be spending 10% because too much disappears.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's probably all we've got time for tonight.
Right.
Now
Can I just say there, Nick, I'm going to put a link in the chat. It's actually a feedback link, but if you fill it out, I'll then have your email so that you can get the Building Better Habits worksheet. So you fill it out, and I will send that worksheet out for you to do.
Awesome. Excellent.
So I'll just put that in there now. There it is.
All right. All right. And you do have a door prize for us tonight as well too, don't you?
I do.
So maybe if you unshare your screen, and then I can get the draw sort of organised. And
so I had one last thing. Action is the foundational key to all success. So there. So righto. How's that?
All right. So maybe if you tell us what the door prize is tonight.
Righto. The door prize tonight is a proactive accounting meeting with me. So it's a 1-hour meeting where we get to discuss some of the goals that you set within your business, and valued actually at about $440. So you didn't leave my name on there, did you, Nick?
Probably did. You might win your own one.
Woohoo! No, it's not there. We're lucky.
Excellent. All right. So we got everybody's name in the wheel of names here. We'll hit the spin the wheel, and the lucky winners will be the person that gets to grow and expand their business with some RLH advisory advice. All right. Let's spin the wheel. And drum roll, lucky winner is,
Woohoo!
oh, right in the middle, Jeff Phil.
Woohoo! Congratulations, Jeff.
Is Jeff here?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, there he is. I can see you there. Awesome. Excellent. There we go. Fantastic. If you just drop your details into Robert and chat, and you can sort of shoot them through in the personal chat message there. Otherwise, I can get them through to you or sort of Jeff later on.
Actually, fill out the survey, Jeff,
Okay.
and then I'll have it.
Excellent. All right. Well, that is a wrap for another Business Owners Smashing Online. Let's give Robert a big virtual round of applause for sharing his knowledge with us tonight.
Thanks, everyone, for coming along tonight. So it's great to see you online, smashing it.
Excellent. And this here will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. So if there's a piece that you missed, I know someone had a client call during that time there. So it'll be up there on the YouTube channel. The link is in chat. Best thing to do is to go and subscribe to it. Once you've subscribed to the channel, a little bell appears. If you click the bell, then you get an email notification to let you know that the video is up there. We'll be back again next week, same time. And what's next week? Next week is for those of you that speak online or looking for speaking gigs, either in person or online. So it could be on a podcast, could be on a webinar, or it could be in a networking group. The person that's coming to present next week, his name is James, and he's going to be talking about some of the key things that you can do to grow your list, make some sales just from a 30 to 40 minute speaking gig online or offline. So spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Really interesting stuff he's got, and he's been doing this for a number of years. So really good for those of us that are using Zoom and webinar platforms, as well as going out in person. So that is next Tuesday. If you want to register for that, that link will be up. It's actually up in the chat there now, so you can click on it and register for it now. And now is a good time to save the chat. So if you haven't saved the chat, remember, open it up. There are 3 little dots on the bottom right-hand side. If you click that, it will save to your computer. It'll also tell you where it's saved. So before you close it, just make sure you just click on the link as to where it's saved, so you don't have to go searching for it. All right. So once again, thanks very much, everyone, for joining us here tonight, and look forward to seeing you next time. Have a sensational week.